Hey Crafty Peeps! I have some fun Easter DIYs for you, so let's get to it. So I actually made this project last year and I loved it so much I wanted to make it again. I wasn't on YouTube yet, so I didn't have a tutorial, but I'm just going to take apart this sign and you're going to need one that has the thickness because it needs to kind of be like a shadow box. And this one just has a cardboard backing, so it's really easy to deconstruct it. I was trying to say detach, but and so I'm just going to use 2 pieces of pattern paper, and I cut this out and it measured 5 by 7, but it actually was just a tiny bit smaller and I will have to cut it down. But you pick out 2 pattern papers and you really want the top one to be a little more subtle, as you want the image to stand out. So I'm going to take this little bunny and trace it. Again, if you don't have this little wood bunny, just print something out from Google Images and trace that. And then you're going to cut this out. I don't know why I was trying to do it with scissors at first. Again, like I said, I do things the hard way first. And it was being really jagged and did not look good. So I get out my X-Acto knife and it cuts out perfectly. So again, do it the right way the first time, which is just take your X-Acto knife and cut it out. And now I'm going to attach my bottom piece of pattern paper, and I'm just using my double-sided sticky tape runner. It's really great for scrapbooking, paper crafting, and I will link that below as well. I love that little tool. And like I said earlier, I had to trim this down just a little bit so that the edges could fold back up. And then once I get this ready to go, I will put it back in the frame. First, I will need to put the glass and the bunny back in first. And so the way I do that is I will glue the glass back in, and you just want to do a very light bead of glue because we don't want it to show through the glass on the front. And so just a very light thing of glue to glue this paper in where the glass is. And then we will glue the backing on right here, and again, just a little bit of glue. I just do one side at a time to make sure I get it in there nice and clean. Plus, hot glue seems to cool down so fast. And this is pretty much it. And then you can decorate the front if you like. And at first I'm like, do I want the bow on the ears? Do I want the bow like it's around the neck? So I go for the ears. And then I just had this little pom-pom that I'm going to put on the tail, and this project's done. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you the other 2 I made as well last year. This project, I am going to use some of this burlap ribbon. You can really use whatever you want as a base. I just had a lot of that. And then some of this Excelsior. This is something I also got in one of the Michael's grab bags. I got a bunch of that too. And I'm going to use these eggs. Aren't they beautiful? So these normally retail for $4.99 a bag. And then this is a stem from Dollar Tree. Not 100% sure where that greenery came from. It didn't have a tag on it. And then, of course, one of these wreath forms from Dollar Tree. So what I'm doing here is just cutting a little bit of burlap and adding it to the 4 edges. That will make it nice and clean for when I wrap the burlap all the way around. And this is just going to be our base, and I'm not going to cover the whole thing. So you do want a nice fabric or ribbon here. And then I'm just going to wind it all the way around. As you can see, I'm just cutting all the stems down, and I will place them on here till I get it how I like, and then I will glue them down. And I got them placed how I liked them, and so I wanted to keep them in place, so I just set my bottle of Mod Podge in the center to hold them in place. And then, like I said, I just glue them down with my hot glue gun. And just to give this some extra stability, I'm just taking some of my twine and wrapping it around all of these stems. I'm really trying to make things a lot sturdier. I really want them to last, especially this project, because I loved how it turned out, and it's definitely staying with me in my decor. And so this is just a little extra step. Like I said, let's just get it a little more secure. And so then after this step, I'm going to use the Excelsior and I'm going to create a nest. And so I just kind of keep building on it until it's the size that I like. And then I will glue that down as well as my eggs. So you may find it odd that I'm putting a bird's nest on a cross, but this is how I was looking at it. Spring is a time for rebirth, new life, and that is also what the cross represents, is, you know, our Savior rising again. And so I feel like they can totally go together. And so I just picked up this ribbon from Michael's. It was on sale for $2.99, and I just thought it was beautiful. It just has a really pretty white trim on it. And this is just one of my shoestring type bows, and then I add another little piece of lace and ribbon and add that to the center, and I am so in love with how this turned out. This popped up on my Michael's email, and I thought it was the cutest thing, and I wanted to recreate it. So I'm going to use some paper from Dollar Tree as well as this sign. 3 of these eggs from Dollar Tree that I painted with white chalk paint, and I'm going to use some of that felt left over from that last project. That orange was from another basket I took apart, and then I'm going to use some paint markers. I'm loving paint markers for small things because I don't want to get all the paints out and make a mess. So I'm going to take apart this frame. I'm not going to need the glass, and I'm going to put the scrapbook paper or cardstock paper, whatever you want to call it, down on this piece. Now it just fit. It's 12 inches, and I mean, it was 12 inches exactly between that frame, so you have to put it on there very exact. And now I'm going to use these felt pieces to make my bunny. So the pink is going to be for the bunny, and I'm just going to cut out some ears and a little heart nose. And then for my chicken, I'm going to make a top and then the sides, and then I'll cut out little feet. And then for the middle, I'm going to just make an egg with my paint markers. Now you could draw little eyes and like whiskers if you'd like. I just kind of liked the plain, and I just think this is the cutest sign. It's just nice and whimsical. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lisa Kennedy, and I bring you budget decor. I mostly do Dollar Tree crafts, but I also do some trash to treasures and thrift flips and things like that. So I hope you'll stick around by hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you're one of my subscribers, thank you so much for your support. So this is another wreath project. Again, I'm using these grassy green stems that I'm not totally sure where they came from. And then this wreath form from Dollar Tree, as well as this cross that's also from Dollar Tree. And then, of course, some more of the eggs. So I'm just going to cut these down so that I can place them around and glue them down. I was so excited to find this wood cross at Dollar Tree. It's absolutely beautiful, and it actually lights up, which is so neat. But I just for this project, I'm gonna take it apart and just use the front. Now, I left it natural colored. I really liked that look, but you could definitely paint it or stain it, and that would look good too. And then I also keep that little tea light. I pop it off and I can use it for another project. So I'm just going to glue this down to the middle here, and then I will place the eggs around it. Again, I just think this is so beautiful. I'm loving adding the crosses and, you know, the religious aspect of Easter along with the beauty of spring and eggs. I just think it looks really good together. What do you guys think about that? So I do glue the same amount of eggs on the right side as well, but I spared you watching me glue. So, and here is the final look of this project. For this project, I'm going to use this sign from Dollar Tree, as well as this egg pack that I got at 99-cent store and these bunnies from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use one of each of those. And then a couple items out of my stash with some ribbon and bunny ears. Again, I'm going to use scrapbook paper that was from the pad that I used in the first project and that I will use throughout this entire video. So I'm just taking that frame off, and I'll set it aside. I'm sure I can use it for another project. And then I've cut out the paper already, so you didn't have to watch me cut it out. And I decide not to cover the sides. You can paint them or cover them with paper, but I kind of liked the leafy look. I thought it went with this Easter theme. Now this is just kind of an out-of-the-box DIY because I had so many pieces left still for Easter. I still have a whole box full of things I can use to DIY, but this will be my last spring and Easter DIYs for this year. I actually will do a little bit more, but anyhow, so I'm going to Mod Podge the papers onto the bunny and the egg. So one thing you saw me doing just a second ago was sanding the edges of my sign, and that does two things, especially when you're working with cardstock type printed paper. One, it's going to give you smooth edges, and two, it's going to give you a little white border because most cardstock has white in the middle or underneath the print. So it just gives a nice little finished edge. And I'm going to do that on the egg and the bunny as well. And if you need to get into tight spaces when you're filing, use a nail file. And that is what I use to get in between different spaces. And so I will get the papers all on here and ready to go. And then I can start designing my little sign here. As you see, this is what I was telling you I was doing. Sanding the sides. Okay, they're all sanded. You see how it has that white border? It just finishes it off, and that's just from sanding. I picked up these ear stem from Michael's. I got them last year on clearance. They were, I think, $1, but they do have them this year again. And I had a lot of Easter stuff on clearance last year because that is when COVID shut all the stores down. It was in the spring, and so when the stores reopened, they had to clearance all their spring stuff out, and I took advantage of that. And so that's why I have so many things in my stash. So I just thought those ears would look really cute on the bunny. Another thing I picked up was this ribbon. It's so cute, and I have a hard time with these printed ribbons because they're so cute, and I don't want to lose the design in, you know, if I'm making a bow. So they work really great on wreaths or those like really big over the top bows. I don't typically do over the top bows, even though I like them. I just am terrible at them. So I'm good at a simple bow. And so I found a way right here just to kind of add it to the side so you can see how cute those bunnies are. And then I will glue down the rest of my items here, my egg and my bunny, and let's get those down, and then I can glue the ears onto my bunny. I thought that they fit perfect. I thought they didn't look too crazy. I hope that you think they look good too. And then I have these Easter letters that is from my scrapbook stash. They're just little chipboard letters that I picked out of there. You could use stickers or whatever you have. And the little yellow square there is also from that scrapbook paper pad, and I just added that to it. The silver alphabet stickers are from Dollar Tree, and I add the word happy with those, and that's really hard to see on screen. They kind of blend in a little. I think if I had white stickers, I would use those instead, but I use the silver, and what you might not be able to see on screen too is that pattern paper has a little silvery tint to it. So that's it. I just added those stickers on, and I just have a cute little tabletop decor piece. I picked up this tag from Dollar General. After Valentine's Day, so it was only 50 cents. I actually grabbed about 5 of them because I think they make great things to make over. I did keep one though as a Valentine because it's super cute. And then I'm going to use papers out of this paper pad that I've been talking about the whole time here. I picked it up at Michael's about 2 weeks ago. They had a special buy one pad, get two for free, and they retail at $19.99. So if you're getting three of them, it works out to about $7 after tax. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to go through here and pick some of the papers out. As you can see, there's so many cute prints. And what I love about a lot of these paper pads is they have sheets inside of them that you can cut up and use as embellishments, like this sheet right here. And then I'm going to go back and use that other one that had sentiments on it and choose one of those. So I did not find this paper pad on their website. They do have a couple on the website, and I actually found one that I think is even cuter. This one's spring. The one I found that I'll tag below is Eastery. But they have these in their store all the time, so you might have to go into the store to find it. So I'm just peeling off the top of that tag. It wasn't glued on there very well, so I figured I might as well just peel it off. And so I'm just going to cut the tag shape out of the paper, and then I'm going to decide which one of the sentiments I like the best. And I go ahead and I pick the blue one, and it says, I think it says spring showers bring May flowers is what it says. And then I'm going to take a more solid color paper. It's not totally solid, but it's one that has a very small print on it, so that it's not too busy. Because as you can see, if I just set that blue there, it doesn't pop. It's kind of hard to read. So we definitely want to kind of make a matte. I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of guessing about the size that I think will look good behind the blue piece. And as you can see, that just really made it pop. But I want to double matte it. So I'm going to take the pink and make one a similar size. But instead of matting them all on top of each other like in a picture frame you would see, I'm going to actually make them a little bit crooked and just give it some element of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, just not straight and simple. I want to give it some character. That was what I wanted to do, give it some character. I also, I like the little squares there. That is where I got one of the squares for that last project. But I like this little banner. It says bloom and grow. And I'm just going to cut the bloom part off here. These silver flowers are new from Dollar Tree as well. The thing I liked about them and why I grabbed them is because I figured I could paint over them and make them the color I need. But in this particular project, I like the silver. It actually goes because there is silver foiling throughout the paper. Okay, so as you can see, a bunch of embellishments appeared in front of me. And this is how I like to work when I'm making a project like this. I just kind of look around in my stash and find things that I think might match, maybe some brad, some ribbon, maybe I see little embellishments, and so I grab those. So I'm going to adhere this down onto the tag, and that little blue thing is called a tape runner. It's by Tombow. I've been using it for 10, 15 years. I love them, they're refillable, and it's just like a corrector's tape, you know, like whiteout tape. It works the same way, and it's just quick and easy. I love it. So now to work on my little mats behind my picture, I want to give them more character and more texture. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my scissors around the edges, and that's just going to rough them up. And again, it's also going to give some of that white to come through. And then after I go around with my scissors, and I'm going to go around with my fingernail and just kind of peel it up a little bit. And now I want to give my yellow piece a little bit of character, and so I'm going to use this scallop punch on it. This is from Stampin' Up. It's very old, I would say at least 10 years old, and they looks like they no longer have it, but that's okay because Dollar Tree does have the scalloped scissors, and so you can use those. You can grab the zigzag ones. It's great for making mats to just give it a little extra character. This is just something I had. It makes a little bit bigger of a scallop than the scissors, although I actually think the scissors might give it the same size scallop. So grab a pair of those dollar scissors, much more affordable than the sponge. Okay, so now I have my two mats, and you can see my blue is now a little bit too big, so I'm just going to trim it down to add to the tag. I'm going to adhere everything down. I'm adhering the pink just regular, and then I want to give more dimension, so I'm going to put some of this double-sided foam tape on the back of the yellow piece. And again, this is from Dollar Tree. They have it in a couple different sizes, and it's in the craft section. And then I decide that my blue needs a little texture too, so I go and I give it that same little bit of texture with my scissors. I decided that I liked this bloom to look more like an actual banner than just a strip of paper. So I decided to kind of cut around the little banner pieces, and I just think that made it look better. And then when I add it down, I'll use that foam tape again to give it more of a more texture, but also raise it off of the tag. I'm going to add just a little strip of ribbon down here at the bottom, and I will add that little silver flower. And of course the flower needs a little something in the center, and I will use a yellow button. That little thing of buttons is also from Dollar Tree. They have them in this multicolor, and then they have like a neutral one. So really good selection for $1. And so just add that on. And then lastly, I'm just going to add the twine back onto the top that was there before, and add a couple of the beads that you see there off to the left, which are also from Dollar Tree. So I just find these kinds of projects so fun. It's a way to use up some things in your stash. It's a way just to really create something that you have no idea what it's going to look like when you start. You just kind of start putting elements together. And that's something that's really fun for me. And I think that's part of why I love scrapbooking is I don't know what it's going to look like. I just know I have some pictures and some paper and some embellishment, and I just start piling things on until I like the way it looks. And so I thought this project was really fun. Do you like to do projects like this? Let me know down in the comments. So right after I got that big box of eggs, I think it was a few days after, I was in the Michael's clearance section and I had found this huge wreath form on clearance for, I think it was $2. And then this Celebrate ribbon I got in a Michael's grab bag at Christmas time. And so I am really trying to use up some stuff I have. So this project retails for almost $100 retail. And I was able to make it for maybe $3 because of those Michael's grab bags. So they're a definite must to go check out. So I am just going to take this ribbon here and I'm going to wrap it all the way around, just like I did on the cross project. This is actually like a fluffy ribbon and I was really excited to get it, and then I hadn't really thought of many projects with it. And I thought I had just enough to cover this wreath form, and sure enough, I had literally the exact amount. So it wasn't quite 2 rolls, but you could use anything. I end up covering almost all of it and you can't even see it. But when I started the project, I really didn't know how far the eggs would go because I only had so many of a certain color, a certain like style. And also, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but this wreath form is 30 inches. And so typically wreath forms like at the Dollar Tree are 14 inches and sometimes 18. So you can imagine the size of this. Of course, you can also tell how large it is based on my body sitting there. And so what I was showing you earlier is these bags, they have 14 eggs in each bag and they retail for $4.99 each. So it is absolutely nuts that I got so many in one box. I should have counted and I didn't, but yeah, there's a lot. And so I think I use about 250 eggs on this one project, but you don't have to use that many. I was just trying to use them up, so I just kept making the wreath bigger and bigger and wider because I could, but it still would look amazing if you didn't use that many. So if you're questioning what you're going to do if you didn't get a huge box of eggs like this, Dollar Tree carries really neat speckled eggs, and I think you get 6 or 8 for $1. So keep that in mind. You can also use the actual Easter egg type ones, and you can paint them or do all sorts of things with them. And you would probably make this on a much smaller scale than I'm making it, but I was definitely going to use up as many eggs as possible. So as you see here, I am just gluing them down. I kind of had a pattern. I kind of went in rainbow order a little bit, but that ends up going out the window when I start just adding them all over. So I just glue and glue and glue, and they're so sturdy. And I definitely recommend the fine tip glue gun for these because it was way easier to get just a little bit amount of glue in between the eggs. And I was just showing you there that this particular pack has small eggs and large eggs. So I am going to just show you the finished project here because I don't think you want to watch me glue 200 eggs down. But you can see how I started it, and I pretty much just keep going. I'm going to start this project with this sign from Dollar Tree. I love these signs for a couple reasons. This one was not very well made. It was hanging over the side, so it was really easy just to peel the whole front off. But why I like these signs is because you get that really cute corrugated bunny, and I know Valentine's, you get the hearts and different holidays, and they make such good farmhouse additions to other projects. And then this is just a really good size for a sign to make. This project is so easy. When you get those scrapbook paper pads, they just have so many good elements in them. That was me vacuuming up the glitter. So this page was in that scrapbook paper. It's gorgeous on its own, and I just thought I'm just going to make a sign out of it. It's super, super easy. And I am going to take some of this purple polka dotish paper, and I'm going to make a trim at the top and the bottom, since this paper isn't long enough. It is 12 by 12, so you could grab a 12 by 12 sign from Dollar Tree, but I also kind of liked how it looks with the trim. So I'm just going to cut that trim out. I'm going to use that scallop punch again. And don't forget, yes, again, you can use those scissors to make you can make the zigzag, you can make scallop, all sorts of things. So it's just a matter of gluing this all down. I'm going to add a bow at the end, and that's it. That is it for this project. It's so easy. It makes such a pretty spring sign. It comes with 2 of these sheets, so you can make one for your friend too. I had ordered these stems from Michael's literally years ago, and I didn't like them, and I put them aside and totally forgot about it. They were still in the box. And when I was cleaning out my garage, I was like, oh, look at this. And so there's 6 of these stems. So you're going to see me use 3 here in this project, but then I actually went back and made the other 3 I had identical. So this ends up being really long. So what I'm making is a garland out of this, and I saw this really neat garland across a mantle in one of my design magazines, and I thought, ooh, I want to make that. So what I'm doing here is I am tying these together with some twine, and then I will glue it as well. But I'm really finding that tying things with twine really helps add that extra sturdiness. And I will add the glue to the twine as well so that it doesn't twist around. So I'm just going to do this with all 3 of the stems, and then cut the extra little branch part off. And now I will add the eggs to this. These particular leaves are really thick, and they make it so easy to attach the eggs to. And again, this fine point glue gun has been so amazing. These are the first projects I've used it on, and it's from Sherbonder, and it's their limited or special edition Lynn Lily, so it's super cute too. But you can see there, I have it off of its little charger, and it can go off the charger for, I believe, 2.5 minutes, and then it charges right back up within like 30 seconds. So it's just been a really great glue gun. I have been using their big one, and I love that one too, but for fine projects, I'm really excited to have this one now. So again, I'm just going to be adding the eggs here all the way down, and that's it to this project. And it just looks so nice as an addition to your decor. And like I said, I end up making the other 3, and this could go all across your table like a table runner. And I didn't connect the 2 together, so I could actually have a centerpiece, and then these could go on the sides. so that is an option as well. I love how this turned out, and I had never thought about putting stems together to make a garland, because you know those garlands are pretty expensive, and so with 3 stems here, I was able to make a good sized garland. For this first project, I deconstructed this bunny basket. I didn't show that part because I actually deconstructed it last year and then never got around to making something with it. But as you can see, it was just a plain canvasy, I shouldn't say canvas, it was like more like a felt. And then this coffee sign, also from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to pop this off, and you actually don't need to do this part. This is one of those projects that evolved as I made it. I was going to write something there, and then, like I said, it just evolved and I ended up covering it, so you really don't need to do that part. And so I am just going to put this part of the bunny on the half circle. So I'll go ahead and I will mark that out and then cut it and adhere it to the top circle part. And this fabric is so cute because it's double-sided and it's really thick, and it's just too cute. It's too cute. And I love the basket, but I didn't have a need, you know, for a basket, a little bunny basket. And so this is a perfect way to get this cuteness of this bunny into a piece of decor. And as you can see now, I'm marking it to cut to fit just the half circle, and then I will attach that. And then the ears are already made, so I can attach those as well. And this is where I say it evolves, because I am going to I decide that I really love this pink polka dot, so I'm going to go ahead and make a strip of that, go across that first part that I was originally going to write something. I thought I might paint it and, you know, put a cute saying, but I ended up liking this a lot better. So again, I just mark it, and I did this the hard way. I always do things the hard way first. You really could have just measured like this and then just measured and made a long rectangle, but I did it the hard way. And then I will attach this. The ears probably would have stood up by themselves, but I want to give them that extra support. So I'm just using a skewer here and gluing to the back of the ears. If you don't want this part to show, you could put another piece of the felt behind it to finish it off. And now I decide that I just need a little bit more, so I'm just going to cut out half circles, 2 of them, and that's going to be the bunny's paws. And I just feel like it's kind of looking over a ledge, and it's got its little paws holding on. And then I just, with my pen, draw little, kind of, what would you call it, little toes, little markings, so it looks a little bit more like a paw. And then I glue it all down, and this project's done. It's so adorable. I love that it sits. I think it's the cutest thing. What do you guys think of this one? There's just so many, like I said, if you want, you could do a little saying there at the bottom, but that's it. These boards from Dollar Tree are the best because they already have a ridge in them, so they look like shiplap, and I wish I would have grabbed more, because once you paint them, they look so high-end. And then these little hearts were giving me a little run for my money. Usually they just pop right off, but these ones were like really glued down, and I ended up having to get my pliers to pull them off. And I wanted to be really gentle because I didn't want, you know, any of the actual board to come up, but on one of them, a little piece of the board did come up, but I end up covering that part, so we're okay. And then I just gave it a sanding just to get it as smooth as I can, and then I'm going to cover it in this Rust-Oleum linen chalk paint, and I did give it a couple coats. I found these bunnies at Dollar General. They were $1 a piece, and I just thought they were the cutest thing. They're wood. And if you can't find something like this, an alternative is to print something out on your computer in this shape, cut it out. You can attach it or draw it onto like foam core board or cardboard and then paint them. So I know that's a lot of extra step if you can't find them, but when I saw them, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm taking off their hooks and the beads, and I will still use those. Now I decide to glue the bunnies down before putting the two signs together from Dollar Tree. I thought maybe that would just hold it together, but it was still kind of flimsy. So then I go ahead and put some popsicle sticks on the back to secure it better. Okay, so now I'm going to take these beads off of here, and I'm going to add some of my just wood beads from Amazon. I will link those below, and I'm just going to make a hanger with them. Because I only have a couple of these colored ones, I'll make a pattern that has a lot of just the wood ones. I think it would have been cute if I painted the wood ones white, but I was just not feeling it. I don't love painting, especially those little balls. I know there's some quick ways to paint them, but. And then I'm just putting a little piece of masking tape on the end of my twine there because it makes it so much easier to thread the beads. Then I attach this and the sign is done. It's very simple, but I think it looks so high end, and it cost $5 and a little bit of beads. For this last project, I grabbed some of these stakes, wood stakes from the 99-cent store. There are 5 stakes in there for $1.49. Really good deal. And again, using some more of these eggs and some twine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to poke a hole here with my little poker tool, and then I'll use my scissors kind of to make a little bit bigger of a hole. Then I'm going to tie a knot in my twine, and then I'm going to shove it down into that hole. And I just use, again, my little poker tool and just push it down in there. These particular eggs are very soft, and it was really easy to make a hole in them. And then I just use my glue gun again just to put a little bit tiny glue in there, Again, a fine tip glue gun is going to be a must on this one. And again, super sturdy. I can hold it up, no problem. And so I've already done all the other eggs there. I just showed you how I did one of them. And now I'm going to take my stake and lay it across, and I'm going to come up with a pattern of how these eggs are going to hang down. I'm sure you've seen a lot of macrame type projects that hang down kind of like this, and that is kind of where I got the inspiration. And I'm just going to do different lengths for these eggs. And then something you don't see off screen here is once I get all of the eggs laid down, my stick is just a little bit too long, and I just cut it down a little bit with my miter shears. Now that I have my pattern in place, I'm going to tie these around my stick with a single knot first. And I'm going to do that to make sure that they're in place the way I like them, they're the length I want, and then I will go back and double knot them so that they're more secure. Now to double knot it, I bring the egg over in the opposite direction and then tie my knot. I want it to kind of go sideways just so it's a nice, clean, flat knot. And then I can still move these around a little bit as far as the spacing of them. I wasn't super accurate. I didn't measure in between each one. I just kind of eyeballed it, and you can see I can kind of slide them around still. So now once I know where I want them and they're in place, now I will add a little bead of glue to the knot so it won't come undone, as well as a little bit of glue for the string to the skewer, stake, whatever so what it was. And so that way it will all stay down. So this is something that can have kind of a dual purpose or two different ways to style it. It can be a wall hanging, or I put it on my mantle and the eggs are hanging down, and I thought that looked really neat. And so I will show you how I styled it. But again, this could be a wall hanging. Is just a bonus project. I took this little board that I had it in my stash I got in a garage sale, and I painted it white with white chalk paint, and then I picked up this little felt bunny from the 99-cent store, and I just thought it was beautiful, and I was like, it just needs to be glued down to a sign, and that would be it. It would be so pretty. And so if you can't find this, I know it could be frustrating. A lot of places don't have the 99-cent store, but I have seen things like this at Dollar Tree, especially in fall. I've seen like the owl and the pumpkin, and so they may have something similar to this, but it's just so beautiful, and for 99 cents I can make the cheapest sign. I hate to say cheapest, inexpensive. And like I said, this little sign I got at a garage sale for 25 cents, and so covering it with white paint, that was it. Then I thought he needed a little bow, and I went back and forth the same way as I did on that one project. Do I want the bow in the ear? Do I want it around the neck? And so I end up deciding to go around the neck. So I'm going to just tie my regular shoelace type bow. I'm going to try to go a little bit slow here so you can see it. I just pinch, and then you want to make sure that the pattern side gets down. When you're going around, you want the pattern side down. So that way when you pull your bow, your second loop through, the front pattern shows. And so in this case, there's lace on that front part, and we want that to show. And then I just pull the tails until I get my loops to the size that I want, and then I dovetail the ends. When I put the ribbon around the neck, I decided that it's too thick. I didn't like how it looked, so I just folded it in thirds, and I liked that look better. And that's it. I just glue this down and the sign's done. Easiest sign you could possibly make, but it's just beautiful. And again, this was just a little bonus. It's not Dollar Tree supplies. I just loved how it turned out, and I wanted to show you. And another wreath. Again, I'm trying to use up as many of these eggs as I can, and this is how many I had left of this particular color, and it's just such a beautiful peachy pink. So I'm laying them out, kind of trying to decide how I want my wreath to look. Do I want my eggs side by side? Do I want them to be a little bit crooked all the way around? Do I want them from end to tail? I decide to end up doing them from side to side. Also note, I know if you've noticed that my light changes quite a bit in between projects. I prefer to film in natural light, and I have a window right next to my desk, and I'm just a natural light type of person. And as a former photographer, I shouldn't say former, I mean I still love photography, but natural light that's just my thing. But sometimes it gets dark and I'm not done and I turn my light on and whatnot. So hopefully that doesn't bother you any. But again, I'm just gonna go around and glue all these eggs together. Also keep in mind as you're doing this to keep checking your circle, because you want to make sure that you don't accidentally start making it more of an oval or more of a line. So I just kept checking to make sure that they were still going to fit into a circle. And now I'm going to use various ribbons that I have for this project. I'm making one of the flat expos. I put a piece of twine down first and then I layer my ribbons. I do this a lot when I have pattern ribbons that I really want to show off. And so I'm just cutting it in strips and laying it down. So this peachy ribbon was in my scrapbook stash. It is probably a good 10 years old, and it actually has adhesive on one side, which is really great for scrapbooking. And it actually was really great for this project because I could keep it in place better. And so like I said, I'm just cutting these down. I think every ribbon here, except the very first one I used, was all clearance ribbons. I buy my ribbon whenever possible on clearance. I do not like to spend a lot because I like to have a lot. So I'm sure none of these cost more than maybe $1. And they're so cute, little bunnies. You can't quite see the pattern, but it is super cute. Both of them had bunnies on them. And then I just tie it together, and it kind of gets a little funky when you tie it, but you just spread it out and fan it out until you get it to your desired fluffiness, I guess you could say. And you can just keep adding and adding and adding. I know other creators call this the messy bow, but they add like 10 more layers. And now I'm just going to put some more twine and glue it up at the top of my project here to make a hanger. And I just do it in like a U here, but then I decide that it looks better if I knot it. And so I go ahead and just give that a knot. I glue on the bow, and then I saw that it just needed something in the center. And I have these cute little burlap bows with a pearl in my stash. I'm pretty sure I got them from Hobby Lobby a while ago, but I'm not 100% sure. But they're already made and they're so cute, and it comes like 6 in a pack. And that's it. This project's done. It's so pretty and springy. I really, really love how this one turned out. For this next project, it is an egg tree, and I'm giving you a little bit different perspective here with the camera because I thought you'd be able to see what I was doing better than overhead. So hopefully that was a good decision. Again, there's 2 sizes and I will use them both. And so what I do is I just start making a base. And I have no idea what I'm doing, you guys. This was like, let's see what happens. And I think it turned out pretty good. Not my favorite project, but I definitely could see potential maybe doing, adding some grass, maybe some of the moss in between the eggs. I think that would be really cute. So anyhow, I'm just going to start gluing them together. Again, this fine tip thing is so nice. And I can't believe how sturdy all these projects are. I don't know if it's just like the type of plastic from these eggs or what, but it's very sturdy. Like this project, I can just pick it up by the top and it's not coming apart. And so, yep, just gonna keep gluing and gluing, and I will get a nice base, and then I'm just gonna go up from there. So what you see me doing here is just taking my little pick, and I can just pick off any glue that I, spilled over that looks clumpy. I can just peel it right off, or I use that to get the little glue strings off, and that works too. That little paint tool is from Dollar Tree. It comes 2 in a pack, and it's probably the thing I use the absolute most. I use it all the time, and it's great. There's one flat end and then one that is like a metal poker tool, I guess you would say. Okay, so as you can see, my base is coming along here. And then I think I add maybe a couple more before I start building up the sides. Nope, I guess I'm building up the sides now. So now I'm just going to put, I'm going to start wider and then just work my way into smaller circles all around until I get more to like a pyramid shape. I wanted to show you guys my Dollar Tree Manicure. They sell packs of nails in 6 colors in a pack, and you can mix and match them and just glue them down to your nails. I use the super glue that's safe for fingernails, and it makes the best little manicure, and they stand up totally fine to me crafting and washing my hands, and I mean, for $1, and I can get a couple manicures out of it for that price. So way, way, way better than the crazy expensive gel polish I was getting on them at the salon. So as you see here, again, I'm just building up the sides. You can see how I kind of started putting them a little bit more closer to the center. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the gluing, but again, I spared you watching me glue and glue and glue, and then you can check out the finished project. And feel free to ask me any questions if it wasn't clear on how I got to this point. In this project, I'm using this egg sign from Dollar Tree, as well as this cute bunny fabric also from Dollar Tree, and these eggs ornaments and metal letters also from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use some of this scrapbook paper and some wrapping paper. So if you don't have printed paper and you want to do a one-stop shop at Dollar Tree, look in their wrapping paper or their tissue section. They have some beautiful prints. Even their gift bags too you can use. And so here is another really pretty wrapping paper that I found as well. It's just perfect for spring. Also, you can see there, I was going to finish the back of this egg sign. In fact, I do finish it, but I didn't need to because in the end, I end up adding it to a sign. Okay, so I'm going to take this fabric and these papers, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere them down onto the eggs. And the metal letters I painted with white chalk paint. So I'm going to go ahead and just hot glue these down onto my big egg. And that tulip you see down in the bottom, that was just a cardboard cutout from my scrapbook stash. You could cut your own if you'd like. I just am trying to use up some stuff, and I just painted it with my paint markers. So I'm just going to adhere all of this down. I'm using my Surebonder Lin Lily glue gun. This is the fine tip. I have been using just the big one, and I've switched over to this fine tip one, and I really like it as well. Not gonna lie, I kind of want them both plugged in at the same time because sometimes I have big things I want to put down, but I'm noticing it's helping a lot for these smaller pieces. Now, because I have raised parts on the left hand of the egg there, when I glue down these other items, they're going to be kind of funky. So what I'm going to do is use this adhesive foam mounting tape, and it's double stick and it's thicker so that you can raise up your image. And you might need to do 1 or 2 layers. And as I put the welcome bunny, I will also do that on the right sides. So I'll show you here close up how I did that. I'm going to make this a double-sided sign. I bought this at Target, and it has these little flip signs, and I want to say it came with 4 Christmas boards. And you know I don't need 4 Christmas boards, double-sided. So I'm making one for each holiday. And so as you could see there, I had my Valentine's one, and now I'm flipping it over to make one for Easter. And so I just need some background paper, and I'm going to use this pink gingham.